Hello and welcome to the course Artificial Intelligence for Business. I know a lot of you have been waiting for it for a long time. We've been doing some artificial intelligence courses, but that were not applied to business problems. Well, here, that's exactly what you'll get with this new course. We will build some AIs to solve real-world business problems. So that means that this is the ultimate course to help you in your work, whether you are working in a company and trying to leverage the power of artificial intelligence for the business, or if you are, of course, building your own AI business yourself. So definitely this course will be highly valuable for you, so make sure to smash it. Okay, so in this first introductory video, we're going to see what this course will be about, and mostly I'll show you the structure of this course because you need to understand the structure of the journey you're going to take in this course. But before I show you the preview of the journey, let me be very clear on the three main applications of artificial intelligence for any business, which are first, optimize business processes, second, minimize costs, and third, maximize revenues. You have to understand and keep in mind that these three applications are the main applications of artificial intelligence for any business. Meaning that if you want to start an AI company, building AI solutions for companies, for other businesses in several industries, well, these applications are the three main things you're going to do for them. Either optimize business processes, which means, optimize the flows, the steps in the process happening in the business. Or what you can do for other companies is to minimize costs, meaning you're going to extract all the data to create an environment in which you're going to build an AI. And this AI will perform some actions which in the end will minimize the costs of the business. And I will show you exactly an example of this in one of our case studies. And then what you can also do is maximize revenues, meaning same, you extract all the data of the company with which you create an environment inside which you build an AI to perform some actions which will maximize the revenues in the end. And again, I'll show you exactly how to do this with a case study. So let's recap. The three main applications of artificial intelligence for any business are 1. Optimize business processes, 2. Minimize costs, 3. Maximize revenues. Remember this? And now, for the rest of the course, I'll show you exactly how to succeed in each of these applications through real-world business case studies. And for each of these applications, we will build a separate AI to solve the challenge, meaning that we'll have a different AI for each of these applications. All right, and speaking of them and speaking of the real-world business case studies, well, let's see what they're going to be in this course. So, this course is structured in 3 parts. The 3 parts correspond to each of these 3 applications in the same order. And for each part, we'll get this real-world business case study, which we will solve with a different AI solution. So let's see what these case studies are, and for each of them, let's see what AI solution we're going to build. So in part 1, optimizing processes, the case study will be about optimizing the flows in an e-commerce warehouse. So the flows in a warehouse are most of the processes in the company that holds the warehouse. So that's a real-world business case study of how we can leverage AI to optimize processes. And the AI solution we'll build to solve this challenge is going to be Q-learning. This is the most simple but yet very effective AI model, and that's why I wanted to start with this one on this case study. All right, next. Second part, minimizing costs in energy consumption of a data center. And the AI solution we'll build for this will be a deep Q-learning model, which is a more advanced AI model than the previous one, the Q-learning model, because indeed in the deep Q-learning model, we are going to combine Q-learning and neural networks. Or in other words, we're going to combine deep learning and Q-learning. So this makes a hybrid artificial intelligence that is well known in the AI ecosystem and which you absolutely need to know how it works and how to implement it. Okay, so of course, for each of the case studies and models we'll implement, we'll provide not only the intuition, but also the theory with all the math explained in details. And also, of course, you'll get the most important of all, the code templates. For each of the applications, will give you the code template so that you can easily adapt it to your own business problem or any problem you're trying to solve at work with an AI. And more than that, even better than that, we'll provide a general AI framework, which is a blueprint containing the steps of the process you have to follow when building an AI to solve business problems. So we'll provide the general AI blueprint for DeepQ Learning because in your career or while running your business, most of the business problems you'll solve will be with DeepQ Learning. So we really wanted to provide that AI framework or blueprint so that you can adapt it to your own work and business problems the easiest way. Okay, and now for the last part, for which the application is maximizing revenues, well, the case study will be about maximizing revenue of an online retail business, and this one will be quite exciting because we will actually help a business earn more than $1 billion in revenue. And the AI solution that will solve this challenge, this huge challenge, will be the unbeatable algorithm of the online reinforcement learning branch, which is Thompson sampling. Thompson sampling, you absolutely have to know about this one and know how to implement it because you can use it in a lot more business cases than you think, and when you know how to use it, it can be tremendously powerful for the business. So you have to know about Thompson sampling. This is the most powerful algorithm in what we call the online learning branch of artificial intelligence, and we will of course provide all the theory, intuition, math details, and code templates for this AI solution. Alright, and then remember that's not all. There is something much bigger in this course. Remember, we've prepared a huge innovation for you, highly valuable for your career. I'm talking of course about the book, the Artificial Intelligence for Business book. This is the very first time we provide a book in a course, and this book covers everything about artificial intelligence for business. It contains 100 pages of crystal clear explanations written in beautiful and clean LaTeX. You will see what I'm talking about. Then all the AI intuition and theory, including all the math explained in detail, the 3 case studies of the course and their solutions, 3 different AI models, including Q-Learning, DeepQ Learning, and the unbeatable Thompson sampling. It contains the code templates, and better than that, the general AI blueprint that will be provided in part 2. And plus, it contains lots of extra tips and tricks like, early stopping, saving and loading models, tuning models, and much, much more. So basically, everything is in the book. This is not like a complement for the course because everything that is in the course is in the book. Well, maybe when I explain the code, I provide more details when I speak, because of course we'll be coding together and I will provide all the details. But in terms of, the case studies description, the AI intuition, the AI theory, the math details, well, you will even find more in the book. So you must absolutely check out this book. Always keep it with you, not only during the course, but also at work, in your company. If you're starting or building your business, this book will be super helpful for you. So let's have a look at it, and you will understand what I mean by beautiful and clean LaTeX. Here it is. Here is the table of contents. Again, following the same structure of the course. Part 1, optimizing processes. Part 2, minimizing costs. And part 3, maximizing revenues. And of course, inside each of these parts, you will get the whole case study with the solution and with the implementation containing the code template. And you can see that for each of the case study, we will proceed with the same steps. First, we'll define the problem to solve. Then we'll define the environment. Then we're going to study in details the whole AI solution by always providing in the end the whole algorithm that will do the magic. And then we proceed to the implementation. Right? Same here, same for the second case study. We solve the problem, we define the environment, we study the AI solution, and we give the implementation. And same for the third part and the third case study. We define the problem to solve, we define the environment, we study the AI solution, and we give the implementation. And of course, you'll get also the code templates in the course. No worries, you cannot miss them. And now let's turn a little bit the pages. So this is the first part, optimizing processes. In the first pages of this part, we describe the problem to solve. We describe the environment to define. Then again, some more description of the environment. Then we study in detail the whole AI solution. We start from the beginning with Markov decision processes for this solution. Then we explain what Q-learning is. Then, as you can see, all the details are provided, even the intuition. Here, you see that's where I explain the intuition of Q-learning. And then, of course, in the end, I provide the whole Q-learning algorithm. And then that's when you have the whole code. And of course, in this book, we explain the whole code section by code section. Remember that, of course, since we code together in the course, well, you will get more details because we will code each line of code one by one. So if there's anything you don't understand here in the explanations, well, I'm sure you will understand what you miss in the course. So here we go, that's the whole code, and we get the results in the end. Well, you have everything, and you even have the homework and solutions of the course right here. This is actually a homework of the course. We're trying to make a big improvement of our AI after we put it in production. All right. And then, of course, you have all the same for part 2, minimizing costs, with this new case study, where again we define the problem to solve, the environment, and here you have a lot of description of this second case study, and then defining the environment with the states, the actions, the rewards. We give a final simulation example to make sure everybody understands what we have to do. And then, of course, that's where we study the whole AI solution. You know, remember, deep Q-learning is actually Q-learning into deep learning, that is, into a deep neural network. And this is, by the way, the brain we will build in the second case study. In the second case study, we will build exactly this one to solve, well, this problem where we have to minimize the cost in energy consumption of a whole data center. And you will see we will get very good results in the end. All right, and then same, we have the whole implementation, all described, all explained, including, of course, what I told you about, the general AI framework, containing all the general steps of the process when building an AI to solve a business problem. So I'm not saying that you will be able to apply this general AI blueprint to all of the business problems, but many of them. In fact, any of them where you can build an environment with some states, actions, and rewards, and when you want to build a deep reinforcement learning model, like a deep Q-learning model. All right, so make sure to print this page. This is the whole general AI framework or blueprint. Make sure to print this page and put it somewhere never too far from you. All right, and then part 3, maximizing revenues. You have all the same, the description of the case study, problem to solve, environment to define, the whole AI solution, including the intuition and the whole implementation. All right, so this book, you will be able to download it in the next tutorial. Also, keep in mind that I will improve it over time, you know, by getting some feedbacks. I can always do some modifications and improvements. So I'll provide some new versions over time so that it can really be for you the best of the AI resources. And now that's it for this introduction. We're going to move on to the first part of this course, part 1, optimizing processes, where we will build a Q-learning model to optimize the flows in an e-commerce warehouse. That's going to be the beginning of the journey. I can't wait to start this adventure with you, and until then, enjoy AI.